All right, brothers and sisters, what it do, what it do, what it do. This is Brother Eli L coming at you from Baltimore, Maryland. I have a question from a viewer who wants to know, Brother Eli L, how do I get out of a bad interest rate loan? Okay, I'm assuming that she made a purchase on something, and either she got into a bad interest rate loan by way of not knowing about interest rates, or perhaps it was an adjustable rate, or just a high ass fool's rate, interest rate, balloon rate, or perhaps sometimes people get into these situations out of desperation. Maybe perhaps their vehicle breaks down and it's not fixable, and they also don't have any capital on hand to replace it. So what they do is they have to take advantage of these easy credit rip type finance cons that these car dealers often offer. Okay, at no money down or very little money down, but you're going to end up getting a fucked up interest rate. All right. So there are many ways in which people can fall victim to these things, but 9 times out of 10, the cause is just ignorance, not understanding interest rates or just money, period. Okay, credit, things of this nature. First thing you need to know this is just how you doing, brother? Is all money, all credit, and all interest equals one word: debt. Whenever you hear the word money, interest, or credit, I want you to immediately think debt. Okay? And that will then start to put you into a more healthy frame of reference as far as thinking and understanding money. Because all money is debt, all credit is debt, and all interest rates are debt. So you must understand this, okay? All money is debt, all credit is debt, and all interest rates are debt, okay? This is why the United States has a multi-trillion-dollar deficit, because it borrows money at an interest rate from a private lending institution known as the Federal Reserve, okay? All right. Which is a private corporation. The Federal Reserve, for those who don't know, is not part of the United States government. It is a private lending institution that was created in 1913 by some Jew bankers, okay? It was mainly the Federal Reserve Bill and the Federal Reserve Act that was mainly written in the form of a legislation and a bill introduced on the floor of the House of Representatives the 22nd of 1913, December 22nd, 1913, 3 days before Christmas, in which 80% of the House was already gone on Christmas vacation, and the remaining members of the House, they simply just paid off to pass the vote, along with, it was, I forget which president it was. Shit, it'll come to mind. But they helped finance. Oh, it was Woodrow Wilson. They helped finance and Woodrow Wilson, and they made him the promise that if they made his presidency possible, that he would then, all right, allow all of their legislation in the form of bills or any type of amendments and changes to laws. He would then back these legislations. God damn, this is the third train going down, man. The third goddamn train going down. That's crazy. All right, so now that you understand that part, I want you to next understand this, okay? Beware of any third-party negotiators. Okay, you can renegotiate the terms of the loan. Okay, you can let the loan just simply default and use cash for 7 years. Okay, which is, hey, it's an option and it's not a bad one. All right. And that's not necessarily filing bankruptcy, just meaning that over the next 7 year period, your credit won't be top notch, okay? But fuck credit. I personally don't believe in credit because I just now told you, all credit is debt. And wherever you have credit, you're going to have attached to it an interest rate. And all interest is goddamn debt, okay? Financing equals debt. All right, you need to understand these things. You need to understand easy credit rips altogether, okay? And they market these type of interest rates and these easy credit rip-offs mainly to black people. This is how Jewish bankers basically broke 58% of black home ownership or black wealth over the course of 3 years. They wiped out 58% of black wealth because most black wealth comes by way of home ownership, okay? Home ownership is the way that black people get capital or get loans from lending institutions such as banks, private lenders, brokerage firms. It could just be private individuals. There are private individuals who do seek out individuals who need financing, and they just investigate these individuals. They go to their credit score. They go to their financial record as far as like what purchases, and usually in the form of large purchases that required things like a consistent payment plan. You know what I mean? Like a monthly payment plan. They look at these type of purchases just to see, are you consistent with payments? You know what I mean? And are you short with payments? Do you miss any payments? Do you double up on payments? They want to see how you are and how you act with money, okay? They want to build a profile on you, a financial profile. You know what I mean? How well you are with money, okay? So you just have motherfuckers who just have a lot of money and they're in the business of selling money, okay? Because when somebody finances you or loans you money, they're selling you money, okay? One of the biggest cons in the black community is when you have these places like in Baltimore, we have places like Lexico, you know what I mean? Or these check cashing places. Like, so for instance, you have individuals who are on a fixed income. They might get SSI checks, you know what I mean, every first of the month. But then you have these little jive ass places that will give them their check 2 or 3 days in advance, sometimes 4 or 5 days in advance. But all they're doing in reality is lending these people their own money at an interest rate. They're charging these motherfuckers to lend them their own money. And listen, here's the big goddamn con to the whole shit. 30 days is 30 days. So whether you get the shit on the 1st of every month or whether they giving it to you on the 25th of every month, there's still a 30-day period in between the time when you get your money. So they're not really doing you no favors except the first goddamn time they do it for you. The only time in which you are actually benefiting is the first goddamn time they give you the check, give you access to your own money. Never forget, that's your money that they're lending you or just opening the goddamn door, allowing you to touch or put your hands on your money a little early. But they're charging you to do that shit. You understand that shit? It's one of the biggest goddamn cons that exist. And black people are the biggest goddamn people who don't understand money. One thing black people don't understand, 2 things black people don't understand the most is goddamn money and goddamn voting. Okay, they don't understand money and politics, okay? And it is these 2 things that keeps us in the form of a permanent underclass as second-class citizens and as goddamn slaves, okay? We are financial slaves and we are political slaves. You understand that shit? And we will always be in a position, in a situation to have motherfuckers being a despot or a ruler. There will always be a ruling class or a ruling entity over black people as long as we remain financially ignorant and politically ignorant, okay? So the sister wanted to know, how do she get out of a bad deal involving a fucked up interest rate, okay? And like I said, you can either default on the loan, okay, in which you have an option, all right? Because one thing you need to understand is this, black people, okay? If you made a purchase, whether that purchase is a car Whether you go to one of them little jive ass rip off, easy credit rip places like Rent-A-Center or Aaron's Furniture, whether you go to places like that, okay, they don't want the furniture back. They don't want the car back. They want you to finish paying on these items, okay? They don't want to repo your car. They don't want to come and repo the furniture, okay? They want you to keep the shit and finish paying on the shit, okay? So really, you need to understand, if you did get into a fucked up interest rate, you're still in a position of leverage, okay? There's still a lot of leverage that you still have in these type of situations, okay? Because they don't want the car back, okay? Because usually you to put miles on the goddamn car, so that now it's already depreciated. Because usually when they selling you these goddamn fucked up interest rate loan cars and shit like that, they're usually used cars, okay? Rarely will you get a brand new car, and if you do get a brand new car and you do have fucked up credit, you're going to need a cosigner, and you're going to get a fucked up interest rate somewhere 20% annually and higher, in which the legal limit is 28%. But anything around 20%, you'll be paying double the amount, the principal. So for instance, if the car is $20,000 and you get a 20% interest rate over the course of 5 years, okay, an annual percentage rate in which you're financed over 5 years, you're going to end up paying $40,000 for a $20,000 car, okay? So you need to understand things like that, all right? All right, so for instance, now you say you want to get out this deal, okay? So one of the things you could do is you can default on a loan, okay? Stop making payments on the shit, all right? In which they will come back and they will repo the car, okay? But they're still going to come after you for their money, okay? This is what bankers do. This is what makes them real serious slime balls. This is what happened when Barack Obama bailed out the Jewish bankers who targeted black people in this country on subprime predatory adjustable rate loans, okay? The United States government, they whined and cried that all these black people defaulted on their loans, okay, in which they were adjustable rate, balloon rate, fool's rate, shark rate interest rates, okay? They cried and whined that all these black people defaulted on the loans and that they were in danger of perhaps going out of business, going bankrupt and shit like that, and perhaps their other creditors and everything would also suffer based on all these niggas defaulting on their loans, which is bullshit, because these lending institutions have insurance on the money that they loan out to you, okay? The money that they loan out, all lending institutions, the money is insured, okay? It's federally insured, all right? So it's just a big goddamn con, okay? It's a big goddamn ripoff, all right? So what happened was Barack Obama, instead of bailing out the individuals who fell victim to these subprime predatory adjustable rate loans, okay, these con loans, okay, illegal loans they should have been, but remember, before the Barack Obama, the Bushes had signed in legislation for banks to deregulate the banks so that the banks were allowed to police themselves. There was very little government intervention on regulating the bank practices, and this is how banks got away with doing things such as fractional reserve banking, one of the biggest cons that exists out there, okay? All right, so Barack Obama then bails out these Jewish lending institutions and banks to the tune of $70 billion of taxpayer money. Understand that it takes 1,000 millions to get 1 billion. He bailed them out to the tune of $70 billion. So that's like $1 million 70,000 times, goddammit, all right? And what he then did was allowed the Jewish bankers, the greedy fucking vultures that they are, after receiving the bailout money that they whined and cried about, the losses that they were in danger of taking, the government gave them $70 billion of taxpayer money to bail them out. Then they still went after the goddamn people on foreclosing on their homes after the government gave them the bailout money. The biggest goddamn con going. And not Barack Obama or nobody else told black people to stay in their homes. We gave them the bailout money. The biggest fucking con going. Okay? So don't be afraid and don't have no guilt or cause about defaulting on the loan. Because what's going to happen is they'll come for the goddamn item. Whether it's furniture or whether it's goddamn a car or something like that. They'll come for it. They're gonna repossess it if they can find the shit. Okay? Or what you could do is, if you can time it right before repossession, you can call these motherfuckers and you can renegotiate the terms of the loan. Now, pay close attention when I say this. When I say that you renegotiate the terms of the loan, I do not mean get an extension on the financing, on the life of the loan. Do not extend the life of the loan. In other words, if they're financing you over 5 years, do not get an extension from 5 years to 8 years, in which you then are just spreading out the goddamn debt over a longer period of time, which is actually putting you in a deeper fucking hole than you're already in. Okay? Because although the monthly payments will drop some, okay, in price that you have to pay them per month, all right, now instead of paying the shit off in 5 years, you'll be paying the shit at 8 years. And remember, these goddamn loan rates are annual percentage rates, okay? And this is where they really fuck you over and get the lion's share of the bread, through the annual interest rate attached to the principal, okay? So in other words, it's one thing if I told you this, okay? All right, I'm going to loan you $1,000, all right, at 10%, period, you know, and you got 5 years to pay it back. There is no annual percentage rate attached to it. Just give me 10% on my money in 5 years. You can make the payments how you want, okay? So in other words, you got 5 years to give me back my $1,000 plus $100 on top of that in the form of interest, okay? Boom, that sounds cool. But if I told you this, all right, I'm gonna loan you $1,000, you got 10%, but you have to give me that 10% on an APR, on an annual percentage rate. So now you got 5 years to pay me back the $1,000, as well as the 10% interest attached to it annually. So now that means you have to give me $1,500, okay, the $1,000 plus $500, because instead of giving me the 100 to 10% over the 5-year life of the loan as one goddamn interest rate, I'm telling you now that 10% interest rate is annually, okay? Annually means yearly, okay? So every year over the course of the 5-year term life of the loan, you have to give me $100, all right? Which means you're going to give me $500 altogether on top of the principal in the form of an interest rate, all right? So you must understand these type of things. So now, you can default on the loan, but when I say renegotiate the terms of the loan, I mean simply this. You can say to them people, look here, you know, you don't have to necessarily say it to them, but you go into the goddamn negotiation knowing this. These motherfuckers don't want the car back. They don't want the item back. They want me to keep the shit and to pay on the goddamn shit. The last thing they want to do is repossess the shit. Don't think that they want to do that shit, okay? And if the interest rate is high, if you do see that the interest rate is high, and to me, by high, I would say anything above, personally, I would say anything above goddamn 5 to 7% at the most. 7.5 is just that's the ceiling as far as I would even go. You know what I mean? But 5% is just fair. You know what I mean? In today's economy, and value of on a dollar, what a dollar's worth today. How you doing, brother? 5% is more than fair. All right. On an annual percentage rate on top of as far as interest rate or term, you know, interest rate or any type of financial term life on a loan. 5% is fair. I don't give a fuck if it's a 2-year loan. I don't give a fuck if a goddamn 5-year mortgage on a home, a 10-year mortgage, a 15-year mortgage, a 20-year mortgage, or a 30-year mortgage. 5% is fucking fair. Okay? But imagine individuals, right, who go into an interest rate and they got in the term life, and the term life of the loan is a goddamn 30-year mortgage, okay, on a home. And then they hit a motherfucker for something like 7 or 9%, you know, interest rate. They don't usually give what's called annual percentage rates on home mortgages, but what they will give your ass is an adjustable rate loan, okay? In which 1 month your ass may be paying goddamn $950 on your mortgage, and you might do that shit for 5 or 6 months. Then out the motherfucking blue, you getting a bill saying motherfucking 1050. They done threw on another 100. Then goddamn 6 months after that, they done made the motherfucker 1200. You know what I mean? And it's constantly inflating. These are called balloon rates because they constantly inflating. All right, the fucking monthly payments and the goddamn interest rate is fucking expanding and expanding. It's blowing up more and more and more, and it's adjustable. It's not fixed. It's not set at one goddamn rate, one goddamn price. All right, and it's set at that rate, and you have it in writing that this rate will remain the same over the life of the goddamn loan. Okay, till the last goddamn payment is made. Okay, you will make it on the first payment that you make, and it will be the same goddamn interest rate on the last goddamn payment that you send, even if it's over the course of a 30-year finance loan. All right. So they come and repossess the goddamn car. All right. If you could time it, try to call them up and begin negotiations prior to them repossessing the goddamn vehicle. But how you doing, brother? But you wanna definitely let them know that you're gonna default on the loan. Okay, so now that's where you have some leverage. Okay, they ain't seized the goddamn property yet, but they definitely know that you're defaulting on this loan. They can see where this thing is heading. Okay, so this is where you have the most goddamn power. Okay, this is where you can get some shit done, where you can really renegotiate the goddamn terms of this goddamn loan. You can get the interest rate lowered, but you don't want to extend the term life of the loan. All right, you're just trying to get the interest rate lowered, which will then lower the payments. All right, it will give you some goddamn room. You know what I mean? It will put you some slack in that goddamn shit. You know what I'm saying? So, how low? Now the question becomes, how low? How many points can I negotiate this shit to drop? So let's say that the interest rate is at 18. Let's keep it round at 20%. All right. Let's say it's a car, and the goddamn car has a term life of 5 years. Okay, and it's a 20% annual percentage rate, interest rate. All right. And the motherfucking payments are killing you, okay? Are killing you. The goddamn car is $15,000 used because you got a goddamn Lexus LS, all right? But you got it used, so you got one for around, let's say $15,900, okay? All right? Then, after you got this shit around like $15,900, you then got the shit at 20% annual percentage rate. How many points can you ask for them to drop the shit? Okay, well, how much slack do you need is the first goddamn question that you need to figure out. How much slack do you need to then be able to consistently make the payments without being late and without missing any of them and without being short? Okay, you need to figure that shit out. Okay. Because this is one of the questions they're going to pretty much ask you, whether it's directly or indirectly. They're going to need to know it. You're going to need to know it. Okay? All right. So, once you figure that shit out, the next goddamn thing will be this. What's reasonable? Okay? Don't be fucking ignorant with the shit and ask for the shit to be cut by half, because it ain't going to happen. Okay, if the shit's at 20%, reasonably they may drop 5 points on you, and that would be generous. Okay, hold tight. All right, brothers and sisters, I was hoping that I wouldn't disconnect it and lose you guys. Okay, so all right, so then now, how you doing, sis? So now you figured out where you need the goddamn interest rate to be for you to comfortably make the payments along with all your other goddamn expenditures, your monthly expenditures. You don't want to fucking negotiate the shit too not low enough. You know what I'm saying? To which you really ain't gave yourself much slack. You really still in a fucked up situation. Because if you're not going to negotiate the shit to give you some air to breathe, there's no need in doing the shit. Okay? So, although I told you Don't go in there with no unreasonable request like having the motherfuckers cut the 20% annual percentage rate to fucking 10%. Because it's not likely to happen. But I'm also going to say this. If that's what the fuck you need to let them know that shit. Okay? Now, you're not going to get it, but at least they have some kind of general idea of where you need that motherfucker to be. A ballpark area where you need the motherfucker to be. And then you may have to take on some goddamn extra goddamn duties. Find some other ways to bring in some income. Okay, so this is what you can do. Okay, but the renegotiation on the goddamn interest rate, you can get that motherfucker lowered. Okay, know that shit. And like I said, the best time to do it, you got to do this shit strategically. You have to literally do it in a construct way. You have to stop making payments on the shit so that the shit starts going into default. Okay, and then you have to call them motherfuckers, avoid them at all costs, and then try to get in touch with their ass before they come and seize the property. Okay, and then you drop on them what you need to do. So there's a lot of preparation involved. Okay, and remember, this is a goddamn negotiation. It's goddamn war. Negotiations are always war. Okay. It's not no shit that happens lightheartedly or anything like that, all right? It's fucking war, okay? So it's no different than two goddamn governing superpowers negotiating a goddamn peace settlement, okay? Because that's basically what you're doing on a microcosm scale as opposed to a macrocosm scale. In other words, two goddamn superpowers negotiating peace. A peace settlement agreement, all right, would be the macrocosm scale or the big scale, and you negotiating a goddamn new settlement deal on an interest rate that's more reasonable as far as the bank. Because listen to me, when they give you a fucked up 20% interest rate, they know they fucking you over. Okay, they know they wrong as a motherfucker. All right, and they don't want it to go to court because they want to negotiate. Okay, they don't want the property back. They want you to finish paying on it, and they don't want it to go to court. Because if it goes to court, they don't want the third party, or in the form of a judge or a magistrate, to see that, yeah, y'all took advantage of this goddamn person, okay? Because the judge can fuck around and just fucking tell them, okay, keep your goddamn car, and you don't have to pay them shit, all right? And everybody go their separate ways. So they got their car back, in which you done depreciated the shit, because you already had the motherfucker perhaps a year or two and shit, and use the motherfucker, and now you free to just go and get you another goddamn vehicle that costs a little less, and without having no goddamn effects on your credit scores or this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? And you can get these things done, because if it's a settlement reached by way of a third party, being not these fucking places that claim they can help fix you, help make your goddamn debt more what I'm saying, negotiate shit on your behalf and all that shit. Nah, see, they make money off that shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't need nobody to do that shit. You can do it your goddamn self, okay? It ain't no goddamn science to the shit. It ain't nothing special or tricky about the shit. I basically told you the shit you need to know going in, okay? But you can also, check out some other resources and sources on, how to do it and what to do, okay? But I'm going to always give you that goddamn, that raw gangster type, but it's always going to be effective, and it's always going to be sound goddamn advice. But I'm going to give you the way that the shit is done, okay? That the shit is done. Not necessarily by the book, but, what I'm trying to say. The mob way. The motherfucking mob way, okay? And when you go into these things, don't flinch, man. Like I say, hold your motherfucking gangster. You got to hold your gangster. You can't flinch. You can't show no goddamn bends in your belief system. When you go in and you say, look, when you put your finger on that table like, this is what the fuck it is, this is how the fuck I need it to be. You put your finger and you lay the shit down, lay them cards on the table down in that goddamn way, now you got to then enforce the shit. You got to hold your gangster. You got to stand and back, stand and back up. Stand, don't show no bends in your goddamn request. And what you laid out to them, how the fuck you need it. This is how I need it. This is how I want it. You know? And it ain't gonna be no other way besides us going to a goddamn court. You know? Because you motherfuckers gave me a fucked up high ass interest rate, and it's nothing more better I would like than to have another motherfucker look at this shit and see what the fuck y'all motherfuckers have done to me. You understand what I'm saying? Alright, I'm gonna wrap this one up. This will be part 1. I'm gonna pick off on the next video where I left off with this one. This has been Brother Elijah Ill. Peace.